Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the C-Man, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the C-Man's Cinema Sit Down. I am fresh out the Regal Theater in New Rochelle, specifically the 4DX Theater at Regal here, and you can probably figure I've gone and seen a movie for my third time. It'd be the perfect movie, you'd think, after you've seen it once or twice, to go see in 4DX. And seeing it in 4DX confirmed that for myself. So I figure, you know what? I'm fresh out the 4DX theater. Some of these scenes hit totally different when you're friggin' moving around and stuff, and you got, like, you know, the sensors pushing on you, and it's actually snowing in the theater. It snows in the theater a lot in this one. So I figured, you know what, let me talk a little spoiler action with you guys. So why don't you pull up a chair, take a seat, we're getting ready to dive in spoiler-filled into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And my second viewing, obviously, was with my family the day before my birthday. We had a little birthday outing for me, which was a lot of fun. And I talked about my favorite two moments, the Illuminati sequence and the entire zombie Strange bit with the souls of the damned as a cape was so cool, and then that little fight with Wanda I really dug. But I realized that I had my family tell you their favorite moments and their scariest moments. So I figured, you know, let me just go through the movie and I'll highlight what my scariest moment of the film was when I get there. But the thing that I love about this movie, and like we talked about last time, you know, I think Waldron probably could have had like 20 to 30 more minutes in this movie to kind of just flesh out some things, right? Kind of handle the Wanda to Scarlet Witch like full turnover a little bit cleaner. Maybe, you know, tackle the Christine and Doctor Strange stuff a little bit differently, so those beats hit a little harder. Give us a little bit more of America Chavez's background. You know, I think it'd be nice to see those things. But I think the thing that this movie thrives in without having some of those emotional beats hit is the fact that it just throws you into a movie and it just goes. And that's what makes the 4DX so fantastic, because you are just going and going and going, and you're moving around, and it's snowing, and you're feeling all of the whirlwind of what's happening. And I love the fact that the movie just throws you right into it. The Defender Strange sequence, which is the opening sequence with America, is fantastic, and it tells you right away this movie is going to be action-packed, and it's going to throw curveballs and twists at you, and it's gonna be scary, because that ribbon demon monster, man, that thing was it's a scary monster, and it shows you how scary Wanda is right out the gate with how powerful she can be controlling or at least summoning these demons to go chase America. And one of the things that you notice after you've seen, I think, the movie once or so, I never noticed in any of the trailers that there were runes all over these creatures that are chasing America. And Doctor Strange, I think, calls that out to Wong in their first fight when they take on the Gargantos creature, which I still think is Shuma Gorath, but the tentacle monster. They kind of say, oh man, it's covered in runes. Oh, it's magic. It's not, you know, sorcery. Like, it's witchcraft. And it's cool when you go back and you can kind of see that. But that whole sequence is freaking awesome. And I liked how scary the creature is. I mean, the way that it kills. Spoilers, guys, you know, it's a spoiler review. But the way that it kills Defender Strange, you're just like, damn, bro. And then right away, you get a little pop of America, and you can see what she can do and kind of how she transfers herself. And that stuff was really, really cool. And then I like that you just kind of jump right in. You know, you open up. It's a dream to Doctor Strange, but we find out that's really windows into, different realities, which I thought was really, or different universes, which I thought was really cool. But then you go right into more action for him, right? He goes to Christine's wedding, and, you know, the tentacle monster shows up. And that whole sequence, too, is just fantastic. I love that sequence, man. I mean, you get that, you know, Wong showing up being a total badass, which is just so much fun. I feel like Benedict Wong had some of the most fun that he's had in the MCU in this movie. And I just love that vibe between him and Benedict Cumberbatch. You know, the way they play off each other, just the little looks they have for each other. Like, once he shows up and they kind of team up together, it's like, oh yeah, you know, like, you know, the whole bowing thing, you know, and how it comes around eventually. I like the fact that this Strange, you know, has a lot of good in him, even though he can be kind of, you know, a dick sometimes. And you really see that this time around, specifically toward the end of the movie with how he plays with America. But that whole bit, man, with that Gargantos creature, I mean, the way that they fight him, you know, and the other thing that I love in this movie is that, and this is where What If can really kind of add some depth to watching this one, is that you can tell this Strange has messed with some dark magic. Maybe not the dark hold, but I mean, we eventually get a set of Hydra monsters out of his arms, which is very similar to some of the stuff you saw in What If. And even the way that he summons the kind of flame, and then eventually the two hands that throw that light post through Gargantos' eyes. This is the one spot where Strange's cloak kind of gets to have some fun. Strange gets knocked out, slaps him around a little bit to wake him up. Gives you a little bit of fear because he gets hit with a motorcycle by the Gargantos creature that kind of pins him, but then he ends up sort of saving everybody when everyone's on the kind of side of the building, covering Gargantos' eye, and it allows Strange to use what kind of look like demonic hands. They got like spikes and stuff on them, but to grab a light pole, and then the cloak disappears, that light pole goes through that eyeball and rips it out. And that was the moment, that's the first moment in the movie where I was like, oh, Marvel gonna let Doctor Strange and Sam Raimi make a real legitimate Sam Raimi horror flick. And I like the way that they're able to play with some of the gore and darker things without crossing the line of PG-13, although I think some of this stuff really pushes you right up to that R line. But as a horror fan, that's really cool, and that makes me excited for this horror realm that I think we're going to start carving out in the MCU. But, I mean, it is just a whirlwind open. And, then he goes and tries to recruit Wanda. We find out that she's the Scarlet Witch. And then, you end up getting America, obviously, coming into this universe. You kind of deal with that stuff. Strange is, just trying to help her. And that's when Wanda shows up at Camertage. And again, you get a little bit of this kind of little slowdown beat, kind of work out some things. And then boom, Wanda shows up at Camertage. And this is, again, one of my other favorite moments. And one of the things that I dig is how powerful the Scarlet Witch is. I think that might be an issue for some people when we get to the middle of the movie with the Illuminati, but I love how powerful she is, and the fact that she has to work a little bit to get through. But it doesn't take her too long, right? She's able to identify the weak point in that chain, and when she just pops up, it's like, run. Oh, man, the first time and every time I've watched it, I just get yes, here we go, man. Wanda's about to unleash, and she levels everything. Now, maybe one of my small criticisms for the movie is I can never remember his name, but the bull wizard. I really wanted more from that. He had his own pop, which I bought. And seeing him at the end working with America, at Camertage as a student, hopefully that sets up a show for America. Maybe he's featured there more, but I hope we get more of him because... Sorry, that motorcycle totally threw me off. I hate motorcycle people, personally. I mean, I want to say hate's a strong word, but I don't. A lot of them can be like that, very rude. No reason to make that much noise in a parking garage. Anywho, I wish we would have gotten more of the bull sorcerer, because that would have been really dope, I think. But hopefully, like I said, maybe that leads to America Chavez, TV show, which I think would be perfect for Disney Plus. And maybe that character can kind of pal along with her. That would be really dope. But I love Wanda just eviscerating Camertage and getting to America. And that is my scariest sequence in the entire movie. When they trap Wanda inside of a mirrored room and she figures out that she can use the reflections to get into the reflections of the water inside the room that Strange, Wong, and America are in. That whole sequence is wonderful, man. And when America looks into that one puddle and sees the eye, and then she comes out that gong, all messed up and, moving around, that is one of, classic Sam Raimi horror sequences, and it's my favorite in the movie. And, of course, that leads to Wanda getting America, knocking out Wong, almost knocking out Strange, but he's not out this time. He got knocked out by Gargantos, not by Wanda. He dives and, of course, grabs America, goes through the star portals, which is a cool sequence. I need to see that slowed down so you can figure out how many. There's 12 or 13 different multiverses they go through. Figure out what each one of them is, but you see some cool stuff in there for sure. There's definitely got to be Easter eggs packed in there that I haven't picked up in the 3 viewings that I've had. But I really, enjoy that, once you get to this moment, this is when the movie really kicks in to a full-fledged horror movie. And from here, you have Wanda using Wong to get to, Mount Wundagore. And even though Cthon doesn't show up, we only got to get Cthon, guards. Wong says Chthon, which got me super jacked. And, there are a lot of storylines where he's trapped inside of the mountain itself. And I don't think Wanda is dead at the end of this movie. She's definitely coming back. I think you give her a TV show, you could lead to Chthon. If she's destroyed the temple, maybe made a crack into the mountain, brings him out, he maybe saves her or something like that. Dive more into that character, because I just really want to go back there, and that'd be a cool place to do it. But you pretty much have her going there, finding out that this has pretty much been foretold kind of by Chthon, that she's supposed to rule everything. And one thing I picked up on the last 2 times I've watched the movie is the carvings next to Wanda are of 2 boys, very much still pointing to the fact that Billy and Tommy are very important to Wanda, and important to the story that we're getting in the MCU. And that's why I need a Wanda TV show, man, because I want that story to continue, and I want to see those 2 kids get pulled in. Whether you end up using shards of Mephisto this time to actually create them, make some kind of deal with Chthon, I don't know, but I'd love to see that explored. But that whole bit, man, you get some cool stuff with Wong there, you're scared that he almost dies, but then he ends up killing one of those creatures right before Zombie Strange comes in and gets to work. But while Wanda's getting all that set up, Strange and America are trying to find the Doctor Strange in the universe that they're in. You find out that he was killed, and they end up they go to the Sanctum Sanctorum, and you find out that he died fighting Thanos. We think. We find out that's a lie later, and you meet Sorcerer Supreme Mordo of this universe, who of course ends up drugging both of them, can never trust a Mordo, and brings them into the Illuminati, and they're pretty much trapped there until Strange is brought in front of them. Last video, of course, I told you that was my favorite sequence. I love the reveal of who the Illuminati are. I thought it was wild that they brought Black Bolt from the Inhumans TV show into the movie. It kind of gave the actor a cool moment to look comically accurate, and then he's kind of a comical kill, and it's kind of Kevin Feige being like, "This is the end of Jeff Loeb's stuff." Although Daredevil and all those things are coming back, so whatever. But I thought it was a cool first kill, and yes, Wanda does dispatch everybody, and I won't go into detail because we did the last video kind of quickly, but like I said, I'm okay with it because it only should have been a cameo sequence. I think for me, I think it works really well as a cameo sequence, and it allows you to focus on Strange, Wanda, and America. And obviously with this movie only being 2 hours, it's smart to keep it that route. And yeah, you could have had an extended action sequence, but I think showing everybody how powerful Wanda is can really play into whatever story they tell in a better long-form setting. And then from there, you obviously get Wanda chasing Strange, America, Christine. They get to the Book of Ashanti. She destroys it, sends Strange and Christine to a universe that the Strange there destroyed, and takes America back to, the thing I love too is how Wanda, while she's possessing the Wanda in that universe, is able to control the powers that America has without even having the powers yet, right? Opens up a portal to get herself back, or to get America back, and that Wanda goes home to go save her kids. And that's another spot where you could have addressed that Wanda Scarlet Witch stuff more head on, made that sequence right at the end play better. And then you get that Zombie Strange bit, first you get the musical fight with the evil Strange in the destroyed world, which is one of my favorite sequences in the movie. It's so creative. And like I said, Danny Elfman has to love that sequence, man. Getting to watch his music come to life and play and hit these classical notes and use it for a battle was really cool. And again, you get to see Raimi lean in, kill that Strange, land him on, top of a spiky fence. And I love that Marvel just let him go to all these places that are in horror movies. And it worked, I just love that stuff. And then, of course, you get Strange dream-walking into a corpse. The cape of the Souls of the Damned. The whole Souls of the Damned bit was great. It felt, again, like classic Raimi. When they try to attack Christine and when she's fighting him, that stuff's great. The way that they talk to Strange and function has that humor that Raimi can bring to horror that makes it entertaining. And I just love that whole sequence. I love that I really picked up on this time, he's dead, so his hands are broken, and Strange kind of struggles with the corpse's hands while he's dreamwalking. But it's not that he's struggling because he's dead. I think it's because what Christine says about the 538 or the 838 Strange and the 616 Strange, their hands are broken in different ways. So when Strange is trying to control this corpse, that corpse's hand is broken in ways that his aren't. So he struggles for a little bit. I thought that was kind of cool. Something I picked up this time around. But I just love how once he's able to get control, and Christine is able to help him there. The emotional punch with Christine during that sequence is legit. But again, if you would have fleshed that out a little bit more, made us feel the pain that Strange went through, maybe when he came back after being gone for 5 years, seeing Christine had moved on or something, a little bit of that could have made the impact of that sequence better. But some of the best stuff we get from Rachel McAdams in these 2 movies is in that sequence, helping Strange while he's dreamwalking, kind of giving him ideas like, you control the souls of the damned, you're the sorcerer supreme, like the commander of the mystical realm, like use them. And using him as a cape was so cool. Saving Wong, how all that plays out, awesome. And then getting to see him, take on Wanda. And, again, I guess you could have gone with a bigger battle, but I liked what you did, how you contained her, how she still broke free. At the end of the day, Strange knew that he couldn't fight her. This was down to America, and kind of giving America that chance to just trust herself. And I love the whole line where he's like, think about it, everywhere you've sent us has been the right place. You coming to me, you sending us to the Illuminati realm, you sending me to, even though it was Wanda doing it, sending him and Christine, to the place where he goes, so he's able to get his hands on the Darkhold. Like, to trust yourself that way, like even your parents, your moms could be out there somewhere and they probably landed somewhere safe. I just love that whole bit. And again, that's somewhere where you could have worked a little bit more, but that relationship I thought was really strong. And that's one of those moments that really work. And then you get to see America kind of save the day, and when she realizes that she can't beat Wanda, right? Like, we just saw Wanda destroy the Illuminati. Nobody can beat her straight up. So what am I gonna do? Give her what she wants. And that kind of plays into the fact that the only person that can stop the Scarlet Witch is Wanda. And getting that moment where she sees that, like, I'm your mom, I'm not a monster, but you are being a monster, and you kind of see Wanda start to come back a little bit. And I really enjoyed the finale. A lot of times these third act finales can kind of slip for Marvel. I think this one really works in the context of what this movie is. It just could have had a more powerful impact if you set it up a little bit better early on. And yeah, where we end up with Strange, the Clea reveal, so awesome in the post-credit. Even the end of the movie, the fact that the third eye shows up. And one of the things I noticed this time, he's got the Eye of Agamotto back, and while it's not housing the Time Stone, he's definitely using Eye of Agamotto magic. And I know the Eye of Agamotto typically leads to the third eye in his head, but instead of it being, I think good magic, it's more of a touch of the Darkhold kind of being behind it. And it'll be interesting to see how that plays out with Clea in a Dark Dimension movie, where Strange created an incursion somewhere, kind of getting to see some of the repercussions of this. Because that's one of the other things that this movie kind of hurts, is where it don't go to a lot of multiverses. We're really only in our universe and the 838 universe most of this movie. But there's a lot of repercussions for 838, and I think that's a cool place where you could use What If. Like, you could show the fallout from this movie in an episode or 2 of What If, which would be really cool. Or, when you're going to address this incursion, like, fallout from this movie, I'd like to see it addressed somewhere. And I think the Clea, lead-in kind of hints at that, and the idea that Charlize Theron is in the MCU is so exciting. She's phenomenal in action. She's phenomenal as just an actor. And that is a huge get, I think, for Marvel. I'm very excited about that. And then, I mentioned this before, with Bruce Campbell cameo, great. I love the idea of punching him in the face with a curse for 3 weeks and then using it to end the movie. Like, the movie's over, the curse in this movie's over, and then if you go real deep, Evil Dead style, like, it's all over. Like, there's no more hands hitting me in the face for Bruce Campbell. So I loved all that stuff. And yeah, I'm going to stick with the 4, because I think the emotional beats that they hit would have made this movie a lot better. And if we would have had 20 or 30 minutes more, it could have been a knockout right there with, No Way Home. But yeah, I'm going to stick with the 4. But I really dig everything that this movie does. I love that it's a Sam Raimi movie. One of the things I didn't talk about, the costume design here is phenomenal. I love that Scarlet Witch's costume gets darker and darker, right? Like, you see more and more black seeping into it, and you definitely see that in her cape. There's like a sequence where you see her in one of those wonderful Raimi cuts and dissolves, where you can see that, like, her cape is got black on the edges, and then by the end it's like just a little bit of red in the middle. But I loved how they did all that. The makeup team for Wanda, kudos. Her eye makeup is stellar, and it really plays into her emotions and the expressive acting that Liz Olsen gives to the role, and obviously all the Doctor Strange stuff too. I mean, all of the costumes that he gets to put on this time, some of the nice nods and Easter eggs that we get. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, I think there are people that won't like this movie as much as they might because it is horror, but I'm just happy that Kevin Feige is okay going there, and they let Sam Raimi go there, and everything that we just talked about, man. Like, while the movie could have hit a little bit harder on the drama and the emotional side, the action and just the idea of what a Sam Raimi superhero movie looks like is a lot of fun for 2 hours. And in a 4DX theater, it was an absolute blast. If you can get to a 4DX theater, I highly recommend it. I'm going to try to see it in a Screen X theater. It's the only other one I got to see it in, which is like 180 degrees of screen, which would be pretty cool for this movie. But it's trippy, man. It's mind-bendy. Lots of things to look for. Definitely going to be talking about this when it comes on to Disney Plus, so I can slow things down and look at more stuff. But yeah, man, I'm a big fan of Doctor Strange. That's everything I got on the spoiler side for this movie. Now I want to know what you're thinking. If you've seen the movie once, twice, tell me how many times you've seen it. Tell me what your favorite moment was, what your scariest moment was. What things popped for you? What things are you looking forward to with the characters that we get in this movie? Where could we be going? You know, one of the other things that I really love too is, you know, that kind of handoff, that Rachel McAdams sequence that we get with Christine, and how he's able to tell her that he loves her in every universe. But kind of being able to resolve that sets you up for his journey with Clea, which in the comics, of course, turns to romance and eventually marriage. So it's kind of a cool, clean handoff where now we can go just pal around with them and not have to come back to anybody outside of Wong, hopefully from the Strange universe. So what things like that are popping for you? Did you not like the movie? If it didn't work for you because of the horror elements or because the emotional beats aren't there as strongly as they could be? Anything you got, man. Good, bad, indifferent on Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness down below in the comments section. Look forward to talking to you down there. As always, if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, and if you're new, you want to come hang out with C-Man anytime we're talking movies, TV, trailer, reactions, you haven't yet, you want to come join C-Maniac Nation, show a little love and support to this guy, jump over there, man, hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell if you want those alerts, and until next time, for the C-Man's Cinema, sit down. I've been the C-Man. I'm signing off. Peace.
Oh, hey, what's going on? You must be sticking around because you're looking for more content featuring this guy. Well, guess what? You're in the right place. You can check out more videos right here and right here. And if you have and you want to come join that C-Maniac Nation, you can hit that subscribe right over there.